I'm going to show you the best stocks to buy in 2025, and we're going to take a look at your tech stocks to see if they're ready to buy or if they're ready to sell. So if that sounds good, let's get right into it. We're going to be covering Hood, SoFi, Civi, SM, Oxy, EU, BTI, HIMS, AMD, NVIDIA, Palantir, Google, Tesla, Plug, and Rocket Lab. Now, the reason that these are green are these are ones that I actually put on in the market, right? I'm not one of those traders with long hair who look like a vampire trying to tell you that, oh, I trade all the time. I was mentored by all these amazing people on Wall Street. No. I actually do trade, and I actually do trade on YouTube, and you can follow these trades for free on YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe. So let's first start with the market, right? The outlier slingshot setup starts with the market. 40% of the stock's move is due to the market. 30% due to the sector, and only 30% due to the stock itself. Now, what we're looking at right here is what I call the outlier 9. This is the framework that we use that's purely data driven to know if a stock is set up completely with all the momentum behind it, or if it's running out of steam and it might be time to get out. So let's start here with the market, with the trend of the market. So we're going to look first at the SPY, the SPY. So we can see right here with this green overlay inside of outlier, it's in a bullish trend. Now, this is using the outlier trend template, which is 3 easy, very simple lines. Your 10 EMA over your 20 EMA with price over your 50 EMA. So your 10 over 20, price over 50, that's a bullish trend. When it's the opposite, it's got a red background. When it is nowhere in between, it's got a white background. But when it's green, it's in a bullish trend. So that makes it super simple to say, hey, you know what? We have a bullish trend, so we're going to mark that green. Next, let's go to the signal. We got a buy signal back on Wednesday, July 25th on the market. So when the market's trending higher with a buy signal, that's a lot of momentum working in your favor. Now, lastly, we want to look at the breadth of the market. Now, in Outlier, we cover over 2,600 stocks, and this is looking at the full stocks list here. What this green line is measuring is how many stocks have a buy signal versus a sell signal. So the buy signals on Friday that came through, there were 136 buy signals where there were 154 sell signals. So that's why you can see the slight dip on market breadth right here. So market breadth has been very strong. And this red line right here is the 10-day exponential moving average of how many buy signals we have. Now, it's still bullish, but it is closing in a little bit towards that 10 EMA. Might have that crossover soon, but right now, looking at it objectively, we can see the market is set up from a trend, signal, and breadth perspective. Now let's go to the sectors. I've already pulled some stocks and I've organized them in the different sectors. We're going to be looking at the financial sector first with SoFi and Hood. So let's go take a look at those guys. And I actually created little groups over here. It's going to make my life a little bit easier. Financial sector, boom. Let's start there. We're going to look first at SoFi. Man, SoFi has been on a huge run lately. It had this buy signal back on June 20th from $15. Now it's up over $21 or so. Now, as a snob, I don't trade stocks that are under $20, right? I want to see stocks that are strong and getting stronger. And now SoFi is finally over $20. So you know what? Cheers to that. Chris might be a SoFi bro here in a minute. But we're going to first be looking at the breadth of the sector and the fear and greed of the sector. So down here in Outlier on each individual stock, it gives you that data right on top of it. So the sector breadth for financials actually looks like it's crossed under. It actually looks like it's crossed under. So because of that, I would not be interested in trading anything in the financial sector. Now, what is this measuring right here? So what this is showing you is the green line is the percent that we showed just a moment ago on the full stocks. The yellow line in this case is that 10 EMA crossover. I changed it for this chart. And the background, you can see the green and red background shows you how many stocks in the sector have a bullish trend versus a bearish trend at any one time. So it makes it pretty easy to see how that sector is doing. And I'm saying right now, I think the financial sector is overbought. And because it's overbought, we're about to have a lot more sell signals and a lot more stocks moving from a uptrend to a downtrend. That's just what I'm guessing, right? That's just what I can see right here. But also what I see is the sector average fear and greed score, which we measure on every single stock that we cover, is actually continuing to grow. So the average fear and greed score is up at 64.26. So if we look at this, we have a divergence in signals here. Your breadth is actually showing to be starting to turn bearish, where your fear and greed is still bullish. So let's now go to the stock itself. We're going to go to SoFi here, and we can see the buy signal with this big, beautiful bullish trend right here, 10 over 20, price over 50. So we're going to mark the trend and the signal right there. The fear and greed continues to grow, getting more and more greedy. Now it's pushed up to 85. My other concern here is anytime you see a stock that's pushing higher and higher and higher on the fear and greed, once everybody's in the stock, once everybody's greedy in the stock, what's left to happen? Everybody's going to turn fearful. Everybody who's bought the stock is going to sell the stock. I'm really thinking that SoFi, as big and beautiful as it is right now, and as exciting as it is, might be due for a very sharp turn down. You've seen HIMS do it. You've seen Tesla do it. We might be seeing SoFi do it too, right? But right now, all we can see is it's continuing to grow on the trend with that buy signal, with getting more and more greedy. In fact, this buy signal showing 213% historical returns following these signals here. So fear and greed looks bullish. Now, lastly, is outlier blocks. Outlier blocks are blocks that you can get for free, and you can still use the free TradingView account. We don't see any blocks on top of this. These blocks are areas of support and resistance. And you can see these blocks back here finally were broken here earlier this month, and it's moved higher and higher and higher. That's what you want to see. So this looks good. Now, this is not set up completely, but it is still a strong buy. So you've got the market set up completely, the stock set up completely, and the sector pretty close, with the fear and greed being bullish while the breadth is still bearish. Now let's go to the next. Actually, there was a news article that came out on SoFi. Let's cover that real quick. SoFi is profitable. Revenue is on the rise, and its customer base continues to expand. And that's coming from this article. Says, is SoFi stock a buy right now? The company has evolved over the years, and it's broadened its financial services to include more traditional banking and loan options. Management's consistent reinvention and ability to tap into new customers have caused the share price to rise 240% over the past 3 years. All that sounds great. All that matters is making sure that the stock is set up for you, right? That is what we're trying to objectively identify. No emotions behind it whatsoever. Next, let's go to the hood, right? It actually just got a buy signal here on Friday. So take that as you may. The buy signals have shown to be 842% following the outlier buy and sell signal. So that is really, really strong. Now, because hood is still in the same sector and the same market, I don't have to change anything here. Let's go reset this for hood, and let's take a look at it here. Well, it's in a big, beautiful uptrend. We can see that 10 over 20, price over 50, outlier trend templates bullish with the buy signal that just came through. But right, look at this. Look at the peak on the fear and greed. Came at 87.98, pulled back down to 77, and is now coming up just slightly from 77.07 to 77.34. So I actually would mark that green as well, because it is starting to come back up, even though it sold off a little bit. Are there any outlier blocks on top of the hood? Let's see. Well, it is sitting in one right here. By the way, that's where Chris made 96% gains on hood back in May. And those receipts are on YouTube. I actually do trade, unlike other people on YouTube. You're more than welcome to go watch that. That came out on May 9th, and I closed it on May 13th. Fantastic trade that was, but it continued to move higher and higher and higher. Now it's inside this order block right here, which is really interesting because it looks like a bullish order block. If it can close on top of it, that would be great, right? Here's a few bullish order blocks going back here. Because it's green, that's how I identify it's a bullish order block. So if it can close on top of that, I would be a lot more interested. Around 99.55 or so is where I'd be interested. Now, Robinhood is up 160% year to date, but there's several obstacles ahead. There was a huge reversal, apparently. Stock at an all-time high. Let's see. But the reversal came after Bloomberg reports that JP Morgan plans to start charging fintech access to customer bank data. I guess that reversal is right here. This giant reversal where it crashed down to levels not seen since like the prior day. I don't know who wrote this article. A move that could raise costs across the industry. For fintech firms that rely on thin margins to offer free or low-cost services to customers, even slight disruptions to their cost structure can have major ripple effects. PayPal and Affirm both ended the day nearly 6% lower following the report. So could that impact Robinhood? It absolutely could. We'll have to see how that plays out. But Robinhood, let's go back over here. No outlier blocks on top of it. Again, another strong buy for Robinhood. So if you are in either hood or SoFi, both of those look really good. You've got 8 out of 9 on the outlier 9. So, I show this because my account is up over 57% this year in only 32 trades. And that's what that looks like, right? One thing that I want to point out is that I actually do trade here on YouTube, right? Every single one of these trades has been on YouTube for free. And my average return on every trade, including my winners and losers, is 15.74%. Meaning, on average, so far this year, if you followed any one of my trades on average, you'd be up 15.74%, right? Now, remember, all of these are for free on YouTube, so go ahead and subscribe. Now, who am I? Real quick, let me introduce myself. I am just a random guy on the internet. My name is Christopher Yule. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. Now, if you're curious who they were, I actually do have a playlist on my channel where I showed some interviews that were of me working with them. So I'm not just saying I was mentored by some people who were the best traders on Wall Street. No. I have the receipts to back it up. Everything has receipts around here, right? I've been successfully trading since 2009. And this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get back over to it. We're done with the financial sector. So let's move into, don't ask again, delete group and tab. Yes, let's move into the energy sector. Now this is where Chris has some money at play. Chris has a lot of money in the market right now in these stocks. Civi, SM, and Oxy. These are 3 stocks in the energy sector where Chris has quite a lot of 6 figures. I'll put it that way. Let's put it this over here on Civi. This is the first one. I bought this on Wednesday, July 9th. But before we look at that, let's look on the breadth for the sector. The breadth in the energy sector is bullish right now. We can see the green line over the yellow line here. I've colored it yellow on these particular pages, but it is still looking bullish. And then the fear and greed, when I put it on, was continuing to rise, and it is continuing to rise very, very slightly. The fear and greed average score in that sector is continuing to rise very, very slightly. So let's go back over here. Let's fill this in and let's reset down here. So the market setup, the sector setup in the energy sector. Let's go look at the stock itself for Civi. We have a buy signal with a bullish uptrend, 10/20, price over 50, and it's getting less fearful down here, getting more greedy. It was around 36 on the fear and greed score. Now it's up around 40. So it's pushing up higher. That's what we want to see. And so we're going to go boom, boom, boom. And then lastly, it's the outlier blocks. Any outlier blocks on top of Civi? Of course not. That's why I bought it, right? You can see the receipts on YouTube on Wednesday, July 9th. I've already rolled up my options because this has been already a very profitable trade. You can see where I got in and where it's moving right now. So Civi continues to look great. There was a news article that came out. A contrarian bet into the energy sector. I swear I had this up a minute ago and it was working. And now Seeking Alpha wants me to pay for that article. I'm not interested, but Civi's looking great. Hold SM, or wait, wrong one. Here we go. A contrarian bet in energy sector, deeply undervalued due to the sector underperformance and oil price fears, but operational improvements and exploration tailwinds offer strong upside. There you go on Civi. So let's go to the next one here. This is another stock that I do own that I did place on YouTube. You can find the receipts of where I got into it on Wednesday, July 9th. Same sector. So let's reset for SM. Same sector here. So SM, buy signal on July 9th. In fact, that performance summary shows 326% historical returns following outliers buy and sell signals. And this looks really sharp on this side, right? 10/20, price over 50, buy signal getting more and more greedy, looking sharp right there. There was a news article that came out. Hold SM Energy. Here's the case for staying patient right now. Strong financial performance, robust first quarter results with revenues totaled $844 million. And here's the thing. I don't trade on financials at all, but you may be really interested in this, which is why I'm including it, right? But the thing is, at the end of the day, you're only going to get paid on if the price is moving up. The financials can be whatever the financials are going to be. The quarterly results come out 4 times a year. What about the other 99% of the year? That is why we look at the charts. That is why we look at the data, right? Management believes that as high quality assets with low break-even costs, particularly in different sectors of Texas and Utah, should continue to generate strong returns for the company. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? All that matters is price, right? Price is all that matters. And price is looking really great on SM. So buy signal, more greed, pushing up higher. So we're going to say trend signal, fear and greed is looking good. Any outlier blocks? Of course not. That's why I bought it. And it's sitting right here. You can see I'm already profitable on the trade. You could have followed me here right on YouTube. My heat map target is at 63. It's currently at 54 right now. So I am still holding SM with no outlier blocks in the way. This is a 9 out of 9, just like Civi was a huge, enormous, amazing, strong buy. Let's go to the next one. It is Oxy, Occidental Petroleum. Buy signal, 10/20, price over 50, bullish trend, getting more greedy. We can see this right here. And any outlier blocks on top of it? Of course not. That's why I bought it, right? You can see I'm already profitable in the trade. My heat map target My fear and greed heat map target is 62 to get out. It's at 53.74 right now. So this looks big and beautiful as well. Perfectly set up on the Outlier 9. There was a news story. The one Warren Buffett stock to buy, hand over fist, and one to avoid. I wonder which one I bought. Buffett loves this oil and gas stock. So do I. That's why I own it. He's a huge fan of Occidental Petroleum. He currently owns more than 25% of the entire business. Berkshire received regulatory permission to buy up to half of the company's shares. So more buying may be underway. Isn't that crazy? That is a huge, huge amount, right? Now, I actually have a slide about old Uncle Warren. Let's talk about that real quick. You're probably wondering at this point, right? What is Outlier and how does it work? Old Uncle Warren used to say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Outlier shows you if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy and by how much, allowing you to get in the stock before the outlier move happens. Now, if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, it's just 3 easy steps. First step, head on over to outlier.com, grab the annual pass for just 82 cents a day. Or if you're on the monthly plan, you can upgrade it with one click and save 64% off the regular monthly price. Start using the Outlier 9. I'm showing you exactly step by step how to do that right now. It's up to you, right? You can trade based on gut feel. You can trade based on fundamentals that come out 4 times a year, or you can trade based on the Outlier 9, which is updated every single day. And you can know if the slingshot setup is perfectly set up for you. And it just takes a moment, right? I show you how fast you can do that. And then step 3 is sit back and relax because you just found the easiest way to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. So let's continue on with the next sector here. We're actually going to switch gears over to the healthcare sector with what an absolutely horrible name for a stock. Edwards Life Sciences is ew. And that is also a stock that I own right now, right? You can see it right up here. Edwards Life Sciences. So looking at we got a buy signal on Friday. But before we do that, let's look at the sector, right? You can see just how strong that sector breadth is. And the average fear and greed score in that sector is growing as well. Of course it is. This is why I own it, right? It's looking super, super strong. Let's reset down here. And let's take a look at the buy signal with the bullish trend. These buy signals have shown to be 33% historically, where buy and hold's only up 1%. So it's outperforming buy and hold by 33 times. It's getting slightly more greedy. We can see that down here from 51 to 51.39 to 51.68. So Edwards Life Sciences continues to put up right here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go over, see any outlier blocks on top of it. Of course not. Now, like I say, you can get these for free. You can get these same ones for free, and you can get your chart set up exactly like mine for free, and you can still use the free trading view plan if that's what you have now. We have a free script inside of the Outlier Discord for you to look at your chart the exact same way I look at mine. Now, you can see it broke through 1, 2, 3 outlier blocks right here on the chart on Thursday and pull back slightly on Friday, and that was where I got in. That is where I got in on Friday. So because it closed over, that basically ends these outlier blocks right here. So we'll see if this does pull up higher, right? That's what I'm looking for. That's the setup right here, completely set up for the Outlier 9. Let's go shift to the news story here. In fact, smart money going into senior health, key stocks, and elderly care. I wonder which one we're going to find over here. How about device makers like Edwards Life Sciences are advancing tools for chronic disease management? Recent findings from the National Institute of Health highlights a growing healthcare challenge in the U.S. mortality rates among seniors have risen. Let's see, Alzheimer's and dementia-related deaths are up 40%. Cardiovascular disease remains a top killer. All these amazing things for living in America, right? How great is America when we have all these issues plaguing us? Point is, I am loving EW right now. EW right here. Let's shift gears to the staples sector, okay? We've looked at the healthcare, we've looked at the energy, and we've looked at the financials. Let's look at the staples sector with BTI and HIMS. I bet you can guess BTI is one that I own right now. In fact, let's go to this story right here, 6 international stocks to buy in July. BTI is down here somewhere. There it is. Companies with over a century of experience in specific industries often find it difficult to diversify into related fields without losing focus. England-based British American Tobacco PLC is bucking the trend on its track to successfully manage and to have its cake and eat it too as the leader in modern tobacco industry. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Let's go look at this, right? Let's reset on here. and the sector. So this is the staple sector. Staple sector breadth contracted. However, it is starting to move right back up. Staple sector is moving right back up. That's what we want to see. Average fear and greed score is moving up as well in the sector. And so this is going to go boom, boom, nice and green over here. Let's look at the stock. It's got a buy signal in a bullish uptrend, 10 over 20, price over 50. And you can see it got really greedy. It almost maxed out our greed score at 98, 98.22. Contracted slightly down to 85. Now it's pushing back up again from 85.89 up to 85.98. So pushing a little bit higher, which is what I was looking for. And lastly, any outlier blocks on top of it? You can probably guess not. Yep, it cleared this one back on Wednesday, and it's pushing higher and higher. And these are my notes on where I got in. So another strong buy. Let's go to the next one. HIMS. I don't own HIMS. In fact, I don't own any more of these at this point. So I'm flying blind here. I don't know how great these are going to be, but let's take a look at HIMS. Remember, this is in the same sector, so I don't need to reset the sector, but let's reset the stock itself. And HIMS just got a buy signal Friday. Just got a buy signal on Friday. These signals have generated 880% returns. That's pretty sharp. But is it in a bullish uptrend right now? No, it may have got a buy signal, but that does not mean that I would take this. In fact, it's in a downtrend, 10 under the 20, price under the 50. So this is why we look at the outlier 9 in conjunction with everything, right? This is a bearish trend with a bullish signal. So I'm definitely not buying this one here. If you own HIMS at this point, it's not looking so good. It is getting less greedy. I'm sorry, less fearful. So that looks pretty good. Less fearful. And any outlier blocks on top of it? There is one up here, but it closed. But I'm telling you right now, do not ever go against a trend. Do not ever go against a trend. You're probably looking at this like, well, that's okay, right? It should come back, right? Remember, when you trade with the trend, it's like the path of least resistance. If you try to go short in the middle of this trend, you're going to get destroyed. If you try to go short in the middle of this trend, you're going to get destroyed. If you try to go long in the middle of this trend, you got destroyed for a long, long time. Do not go against the trend. I'm giving you the trend template, 10 over 20, price over 50. You have the opposite right now. That is a bearish trend. Do not buy HIMS. Period. Full stop. If you've gotten this far in the video, do me a favor in the chat, type HIMS right now. In fact, I'll do it right now to show you what that looks like. Type HIMS because I want you to make sure that you are not putting your money in HIMS. Type HIMS in the chat to let me know you understand you are not going to be buying HIMS right here. Let's go to the next one. Actually, there's probably a news story here. How about reminds investors with their losses of an upcoming class action lawsuit, right? So HIMS did some shady stuff. They announced a long-term collaboration with Novo Nordisk, stating the immediate sale of a bundled offering approved with Wegovy on the HIMS and Hers platform. Then Novo Nordisk issued a press release announcing it was terminating its partnership with HIMS, citing deceptive promotion and selling of illegitimate knockoff versions of Wegovy that put patients' safety at risk. Do not buy HIMS. Period. Full stop. Do not buy HIMS right now. Okay, let's go to the next one on our list, and that is AMD. Now we're moving into the tech sector. AMD. Big, beautiful uptrend right here. Now, you probably were hearing me way back when, months ago, when I said, do not buy AMD. Buy stocks as they're crashing up, not stocks as they're crashing down, right? And look at this, right? We had no idea where it would bottom, but by using the trend template, we could see exactly the date that it did bottom and turn around. And that was on the exact date that it turned around was Monday, May 5th. And since then, rocket ships, right? And it looks like it's about to clear this order block right here, this outlier block. So let's go look at AMD. And we need to look at the sector. So we got some issues here. The sector breadth is absolutely bearish. Hands down for sure. The sector breadth is bearish. Let's reset down here. Meaning we're getting more sell signals than buy signals. AMD's sector is the tech sector, getting more and more greedy, and it is still continuing to get more greedy. That wasn't really sure based on the size of these candles right here, but it is getting slightly more greedy. So that's what we're going to leave there. Now let's go look at AMD stock itself. Pushing higher on the fear and greed scale ever since this buy signal that came in April 28th. These buy signals have shown us 286% on AMD, by the way. April 28th was when the buy signal came. A couple weeks later, May 5th was when we got that crossover point on the trend. And what's happened since then? Gangbusters. Gangbusters. And it continues to get more and more greedy. So AMD, I mean, it's got a lot going for it. The trend, the signal, the fear and greed are all looking great. But it does have an order block right here. It just closed on top of it. So on Monday, that should break. So here it's 8 out of 9. AMD looks significantly better than HIMS. All right. Big difference. You're not getting paid until the price is going up. Remember, profits follow price. So the only time you're going to feel that is as it's going up, right? You're probably feeling a lot of anxiety, fear, and doubt all the way down. But once it pushes up and moves higher, you got the buy signal, you got the momentum, you got the outlier 9 set up for you. Boom, boom, boom. Makes life so much easier, right? History says these three stocks could be big winners in the second half of the year. With NVIDIA, AMD, and Tesla. We're going to cover all threes in just a minute. AMD, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is excited about the company's new MI400 chips and will be a buyer of them, apparently, but they won't ship until next year. The test for how strong the demand will be coming next year. Company's growth rate has been encouraging, with sales up 36%. So AMD has a lot going for it. AMD has a lot going for it. Let's shift over to NVIDIA. Let's reset for NVIDIA. Remember, the market's the same, the sector is the same. We're only going to be looking at the stock differences here. And it is continuing to get greedy with a buy signal. Buy signal returns show 1,600%. Outstanding work on that. And then any outlier blocks on top of NVIDIA? No. Now, I will tell you this as well. I did buy AMD live here on YouTube because I am a real trader, and I got stopped out of it. I bought it on Friday, June 27th, and I got stopped out on Tuesday, July 1st. Now, what happened after that is it continued on higher, and that's okay, right? When you are a trader, you have to expect losses. If you are a trader and you never expect to lose, you will absolutely bankrupt yourself. Sounds crazy, but if you don't take the small losses right here, right? What can happen is they turn into big losses, like what you're seeing if you probably are holding HIMS at this point. Big losses. So even though it turned out to be a small loser, that is okay. That is part of my trading plan, and that's why I can have huge results like we showed earlier, and why I have all the confidence in the world in my plan, even though NVIDIA has taken off without me. NVIDIA looks really good right here. Let's do the trend. Let's do the signal with a buy signal here, getting more greedy. Boom, boom. And then lastly, no outlier blocks on top of it. So NVIDIA looks great. 8 out of 9. And what they're saying on NVIDIA on that same article, chip maker has been an astounding investment to own over the years. Its chips are in high demand as companies invest in AI and seek out strong compute power. And NVIDIA recently hit a $4 trillion valuation. That's big money over there in NVIDIA. Let's go to the next stock in the tech sector, Palantir. So remember, the sector is not going to change. Let's reset. Let's look at Palantir objectively. Has a buy signal, 10 over 20, price over 50, and it's getting less fearful, more greedy. So boom on Palantir. Any news stories on this one? Right. These are the 5 hottest stocks on Interactive Brokers. Oh my goodness, 5 hottest stocks. Palantir. It appears invincible with the stock up 86% this year, right? Who cares about fundamentals? I heard somebody saying how overvalued Palantir is. It doesn't matter. You're getting paid on Palantir. That's all that matters, my friends. However, big order blocks right here. Big, giant outlier blocks, right? And here's back where Chris made 74% on Palantir in just 5 days. Just putting that out there. Those trades, by the way, all on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe because you can get those trades that I'm taking for free on YouTube. Why haven't you subscribed already? I got to tell you, I hear stories almost on a daily basis about how much money I'm making people. Right. And this is a perfect example. 74% on Palantir in 5 days. In, out, make your money, move on. And I do it for free here on YouTube. Why are you not subscribed already? Be sure to tell everybody you know. Okay. Now, looking at this, I would not own Palantir right here. Not a chance. Why would I not own it right here? Right. It is sitting right inside of this outlier block. These are areas of strong support and resistance. And there's no freaking way that I'm going to buy it while it's sitting in an area of resistance. So not touching Palantir with a big, long poker. Let's go to the communications sector. I don't know if you know this, but Google is not in the tech sector. It's in the communications sector. Let's look at that. Popping up into Google, we can see the sector is bearish on breadth, but bullish on fear and greed. So our notes here will still apply. Let's reset. Let's look at Google with a buy signal, 10/20, price over 50, price is moving up. And the fear and greed is also moving up. So this is looking great so far. In fact, I wonder what those buy and sell signals have been. 151.49%. So that looks really, really sharp. Let's go over to Google's chart, look for any order blocks in the way. It closed this order block a few days ago, so that one's not an issue anymore. And actually, Google looks really strong. That's an 8 out of 9. Google looks really, really good. Let's go out of the communications sector now over to the discretionary sector. Tesla is not in that sector. And wait a minute, hold on. We forgot our news story on Google. Alphabet. Listen, it's always Google. It will never be Alphabet. Google parent company Alphabet looks like an absolute steal compared to Palantir. While Palantir's forward earnings, who gives a flying F? What is forward PE? I didn't mean to click that. Saw a jaw dropping, whatever. Sure, Palantir's revenue and growth earnings are more quickly than Alphabet's. However, Alphabet's no slouch when it comes to growth, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a flying flip? Let's only focus on the price, only focus on the data. That's what we can see, right? That's what we can see. These fundamentals get updated 4 times a year. The other 99% of the time, they mean nothing. They mean nothing. Fight me in the comments. Go for it. Tell me how wrong I am in the comments right now. Go ahead. Let's pull up to Google on the chart. We did this already, right? Yes, let's move on to the discretionary sector, and this is going to be Tesla. Now, I don't care about Tesla, right? Tesla's going to do what Tesla's going to do, but I do own a Model Y Performance. I love that car. It is a ton of fun. Look at this. It's got a bullish order block on top of a bearish order block inside of this this area right here, right? Now, the reason that I want you to know that I have no skin in the game on Tesla stock is that there are people who are telling you right now, buy Tesla stock. It's only going to go to $1,000. It can't do anything about that. Do not anchor yourself to any price on Tesla, period. Okay. You need to be focusing in on the data, because those same people who said Tesla was going to go to $1,000 a share are the same people who had 124% gain, 100% evaporate, and they didn't take their profits. That's not how it's done. Take your profits as stocks are crashing up, get out of the way as they're crashing down, and rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. So let's look objectively at Tesla here. We've got the sector. Remember, the discretionary sector, bullish breadth on the sector, and bullish getting more and more greedy in the sector as well. So let's go. Those are both green. Let's reset over here on Tesla. We do not have a 10/20 price over 50. In fact, we have a bearish trend. So we're going to keep that one red. We have a sell signal. In fact, the buy and sell signals have generated only 1,300% returns, right? Only 1,300% returns. And then, so that's going to stay red. That's going to stay red. Fear and greed is getting more fearful. That's going to stay red. And we saw it has a double order block on top of it right here. There is no reason to be buying Tesla stock here. Do me a favor. If you are at this point of the video, let me know that you see that Tesla is a do not buy by typing Tesla down in the chat down below. That's what I want you to do right now. Tell me that you see that Tesla is a do not buy at this point. Even though it is one of the 5 hottest stocks on Interactive Brokers. Shouldn't surprise anyone, is number 1 on the list, and a company as outspoken CEO Elon Musk captivated the minds of investors. One of the first companies to make electric vehicles, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a flying flip with robo-taxis and humanoid robots? And now he's into politics and all kinds of stuff. All that matters is the price working for you? Do you have the data? And right now, Tesla is a stay far, far away from. Let's get into our last sector. This is the industrial sector with Plug and Rocket Lab. Let's go look at Plug first. And remember, new sector. So we need to reset the sector. Let's reset the sector. Plug is, what is Plug real quick? Plug is the Plug Power Inc. industrial sector. That's what we're looking at here. Bullish breadth, bullish fear and greed. And so let's mark those green on here. Let's go to the stock itself. In a bullish trend, 10/20 price over 50. Buy signal came on Wednesday, July 2nd. Signals, oh man, signals have shown 1,120% return versus buy and hold down 48%. Yeah, I would feel like these buy and sell signals are a hell of a lot better than just buying and holding. It's getting more and more greedy. So let's go boom, boom, boom. And then lastly, any outlier blocks on top of Plug? There is. Now here's a great example, right? This outlier block was created in March. It came up to this area and was immediately rejected. Plug is $1. Plug is $1. Wow, this is a cheap ass stock. I don't buy cheap ass stocks. I am a snob. I want it to be $20 or greater. But because of this huge area of support and resistance, or really all resistance, this is a will not trade it no matter what. Will not trade it no matter what. Do me a favor. If you see also that is a do not trade it no matter what, even though 8 of 9 are there, you still have this area. Now, the reason that this is here is that this is where people are ready and active and trying to sell out of their losing positions. And they're going to sell out once it gets up to this area again. I would not be owning plug right here. If you see this as well, type plug in the chat one last time for me right here. Type plug to let me know that you see plug is not a buy. Not at all. Even though the outlier buy and sell signals are really sharp. Why? Plug power soared this week. Oh my gosh. The multi-year extension of this contract is key, but unnamed supplier will provide plug power with hydrogen fuel through 2030 at a reduced rate. The cheaper fuel will help improve plug power's cash flows, which have been severely impacted by shrinking sales. Listen, this is a terrible stock. This is a horrible, no good, very bad stock. This is not a stock that Chris would buy under any circumstance. I wouldn't even buy it with your money. Let's move on to Rocket Lab. I bet you Rocket Lab is going to look a hell of a different. In fact, I want to look. Does Rocket Lab look a lot different? Yeah. Here's the difference between a shitty stock and a great stock, right? Look at this. This has so much momentum, so much work. So it's definitely over $20. So much future ahead of it. This one is dead. This one is dead. Dead and dying. All right, let's go back into Outlier. Why Rocket Lab surged 40% in the first half of 2025. All kinds of cool stuff coming, but basically they're going to compete with SpaceX more directly. I think that's pretty interesting, right? So looking at this, remember, same sector, same bullish fear and greed right here. Has a buy signal that came on July 8th. Buy signal shows 654% returns. 654% returns. Buy signal 10 over 20, price over 50. Getting more greedy. The sector's getting more greedy. Sector breadth is great. I mean, what a difference between Plug and Rocket Lab, right? What a difference between these two. And then it is looking like it has no order blocks in the way. So Rocket Lab is a full 9 of 9 for me. This has been a huge amount of work that we just did, right? We just covered all these stocks that you can't see because I'm in the way. We just covered all these stocks. And if this was useful to you at all, be sure that you subscribe, you share this with somebody who knows. And also, if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, there's 2 videos right here. You certainly need to click them. Have a fantastic day. See you on Monday.